So I haven't done this in a while because making videos is tougher than I thought it would be, especially when you don't rehearse or script everything you're gonna say beforehand. And I'm sure that would make for a better video because I would know what I was saying and could plan ahead of time, but that's just not how I do things. So if that is what I need to do, then, well, it's not gonna happen. I don't really know what I came on here to say. I guess I was just gonna provide an update, and blame my messy hair on the stress that it's causing, and not on the fact that I haven't showered today because my clothes are in the washer. So Social Security told me that I have that $3,000 bill to pay, and they were pretty nice about it, which is weird. They're not usually nice people. However, they kind of gave me two options. Either I could continue not to get below the amount that I'm supposed to have in order to receive the money that I was sure I opted out of because I hate the idea and the way Social Security goes about doing things. But apparently I didn't opt out. I just haven't been getting paid because I don't have less than the maximum amount, which is $2,000. Now, they told me that in the past, the reason I've gone over the amount or the reason I owe them is because, again, I was over the amount. But what was pushing me over was my investment account. So the easy step would be just to get rid of the investment account, start collecting Social Security, and then I would be able to use that to pay back Social Security. And that would work, or I could not change anything and then pay them back completely on my own, which would drain me of everything in my account, in my bank account, that is. And then I would have to come up with about $1,000. I don't currently have a job still, so that would mean I'd have to sell $1,000 worth of my stocks. I'm not sure if selling my stocks would be the herd way of doing things or giving in is the herd way of doing things. But I've never been a fan of doing what's easy because if I did what's easy, I wouldn't be where I am today. Everybody told me I wouldn't be able to do this, I wouldn't be able to do that. Well, you know what, you fucking assholes? I did it anyway. And you know why? Because I didn't listen to you, and I did it my way, and I did it the hard way. And I put in the hours, I put in the time. But I don't know which answer here is tougher. Giving in to something I hate so that I can hopefully be done with them after I pay them, or sticking out and sticking it out and saying, you know what, fuck you, I'll pay you what you want me to pay you, it'll put me in the hole, and hopefully I don't need money for anything else for the next few weeks because I don't get the job back that I had for like 3 more weeks. I just don't know the answer here. And, I tell everybody that, see, the funny thing is, everybody just says, oh, Social Security must be great, you get free money. It comes with strings. Everything does when you get things for free. But it's funny because, that seems like the simple answer. And, one of my goals is to get enough passive income so that I can live off that passive income. But not only that, and I tell people, when I tell people this, I'm like, I know it sounds silly, but honestly, it doesn't sound silly, and I have to stop talking like that. It sounds like what I want to do, and that's valid. What I was hoping to do with my investments was get to a point where I could pay everything I need to pay, my bills, anything. And then I could use all of my income in my future job for things like charities and honestly anything else, providing free health care and sessions, because the reason I went into psychology is so I could help people. And I understand, coming from a poor household myself, that this shit, helping yourself, is expensive as hell. And as long as we live in a capitalist society, come at me if you want for that one, I don't give a shit. I'm not saying that one is better than the other. They both have their benefits, but they both have their downsides too. So chill out. One of the shitty things about this, though, is that helping yourself, doing what's best for you, is expensive, and it's really shitty because we already have that stereotypical, look down on people because they're weak type of mindset. And it doesn't help to have to deal with that and then to have to say, well, we can't afford to do what's best for ourselves. So, yeah, maybe it sounds silly to everybody else, but I believe in it so strongly that I want to be the one to make it happen. I want to be able to put all of my money, whether I make 40,000 a year, 100,000 a year, 150,000, it doesn't matter. I want to be able to put all of that into other things other than myself so that I can make a difference. I want to donate to 4Oceans so that they can pull trash out of the ocean and fix our mistakes before we get to the point where we're screwed. Because, yay, we achieved, billionaires going into space. Well, good for them, but you know what else they've done? so much that we, as the majority population, have yet to even experience because we are held back by our financial system of we we just don't have enough money, and that is bullshit. So unless they decide, which it doesn't sound like they will, because if they decided to do this, they could have done it by now. Unless they decide to help us out by paying for these things, it's up to us. And like, why shouldn't I want to help everybody? If for nothing else, even if I was being selfish, it would help me because it would give me a better quality of life. It would give my kids a better quality of life to live in a place that didn't have trash in the oceans. If the government came into a house that had trash everywhere, the kids would be removed. Yet having trash in every corner of the globe is just fine because it's not one person's issue, it's everybody's issue, so we can just turn a blind eye to it. Where the fuck does that logic come from? I want to be able to help with that. I want to contribute to, these mental freaking organizations that actually care about, the growing rate of suicide and the misunderstandings of LGBTQ and getting their voices heard and shit like that, shit that actually matters on a day-to-day basis that nobody thinks about. I want to be able to do this, but I need to be able to not worry about me. I need to know that I go to work because I enjoy helping people, because I enjoy making a difference and setting them on the path to their own success, setting them on the path to where they want to end up. I need a job that I can go to and do these things where my pay doesn't matter. And the only way I can do that is if I can work and not get paid and still survive. And how is that gonna happen? I need to get money from elsewhere. And, that is easier said than done. I get that. I get that in order to do what I want to do, I need probably 500,000 in my investment account. I understand, but putting it off until I'm 40, where I have this job that gives me 40,000, 100,000 a year, is what everybody else does, because everybody else says, oh, I'm young, I have time. And then they get to their 40s and they're like, okay, I finally have this job and I finally can do this. And then they realize that they have bills, and yes, they can still do it, but they lost out on 40 years, 30, maybe freaking 20, I don't know. They've lost out on time they could have used to just compound their interest. Even if they're not contributing yearly, or monthly, or weekly, just holding that in their account is going to make them more money than waiting until they're freaking 40 to do this shit. And The mindset of, oh, we'll handle it later is exactly what we're fighting against. So, yeah, I could easily give in. I could easily tell Social Security I'll sell my stocks. And you know what? Maybe after I pay them back, I can get off it again and I can open my investment account back up. But what would I have lost in the process? And the future is never a guarantee. I mean, if it was, we wouldn't have had to deal with the pandemic. We wouldn't have had to close down the whole country. But nobody saw that coming, and nobody could have. So, what is the answer? Hell if I know. My point is that it's not as easy as, oh, just put it off. So, I guess I came here and said what I had to say. Again, get mad at me. I don't care. Do what you think is right. That's all you can do as a person. But there you go. I said what I had to say.